Hi, Becky Jane Stevenson, the OCD Warrior here. So this is my second video. Thank you if you did tune in to my very first one. I hope you gained a little bit of comfort from that, a little bit more understanding about what OCD is, and the kind of the misconceptions and how it shows up for everybody. So this video is a really quick one. I wanted to explain the way that intrusive thoughts work for people and why they show up so frequently. So there's a turn of phrase that's used even within the psychiatry world and psychology world, and in many books that cover OCD, which is called the white bear effect, or what I like to call the pink elephant. So I want to do a little exercise with you if you are watching. So I want you to picture a pink elephant in your mind. So visualize a pink elephant. So when you've done that, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to picture anything. So let's picture a warm summer day on a beach. Bright blue skies, white fluffy clouds, very calm but gentle waves. And I want you to picture that in your mind's eye. I want you to picture those waves just gently rolling onto the sand. But what I don't want you to think about is a pink elephant. Just keep thinking of those waves and the smell and the warmth of the sun. But don't think of a pink elephant. Now the white bear effect, you can open your eyes now. The white bear effect, if you was visualizing that beach on that warm sunny day and you was trying to think of anything but that pink elephant, but it kept intruding on that visual image, that is what the white bear effect is. So what we resist persists. So the very things that we try and push out of our mind, that we try and suppress, that we try and neutralize, that we try and get rid of, persists. So the more we try and get rid of it, the more we try and get rid of an intrusive thought that's connected to your OCD, the more that intrusive thought is going to happen. The more you try and push that away, what we resist persists. So it will keep coming back because we are responding to it negatively. We've labelled and interpreted that thought as something bad, something dangerous, something that's a threat. We've labelled that so our immediate go-to reaction is the fight or flight response. We need to get rid of this. It's dangerous. It's not safe. So our brain will try and keep us safe. And there's a part of the brain that is responsible for that. And it is a very natural response. It's just responding to the wrong things. And it's called the amygdala. So the amygdala is the part of the brain that's responsible for the anxiety reactions we feel. So to explain a little bit about that, if somebody jumped out at you from behind you and shouted boo, our amygdala doesn't know what it is straight away. So two signals are fired from the brain. The first signal goes straight to the amygdala, which sounds off the anxiety warning bell because we don't know what it is yet. And then when we turn around and see that it's just our friend and it's just a joke, the second signal goes to the cortex, decides that this is not a threat, and then we'll send the signal to the amygdala to tell the amygdala to shut off the warning bell. So that's the way it works. So the first response goes straight to the amygdala, sets off that anxiety. The cortex, so the thinking part of your brain, decides whether it's a threat or not, then sends the signal on to the amygdala to shut off that warning bell. That is the way it works. So with an intrusive thought, because we can't figure it out, and part of OCD, my camera's gone really blurry. There we go. When we experience an intrusive thought that we can't figure out, we can't work out whether it's a real danger, we can't work out whether it's a threat, that warning bell in the amygdala is constantly going off, building that distress higher and higher and higher to a point where we can't tolerate it, and we can't tolerate not knowing whether it's a threat or not. So our immediate instinct is to get rid of it, is to do something to lessen that risk. So the the white bear effect is essentially when we try and get rid of something, it will keep coming back. It will keep showing up. So even if we're having a good day, so I'm sure many of you who are watching this that has a diagnosis of OCD or understands or has lived with it and recovered will understand what I'm about to say. Even when we're having a good day and we haven't had barely any intrusive thoughts and we're really enjoying ourselves, and the OCD stuff is a million miles away because we are preoccupied with whatever it is we're doing in that moment, and we think, I've had a really good day today, I haven't had any of those thoughts. And guess what? Those thoughts happen immediately because we've thought of them. We've triggered them back off because we've thought of them. So when we're trying to get rid of them and push them away and neutralize and refocus our brain somewhere else without acknowledging those thoughts, they're going to push back harder. So that's what the white bear effect is. It's when we try and push an image or a thought out of our mind to get rid of it, it'll come back. So the only way really to handle these thoughts is to welcome them into your mind, make them as ridiculous as possible, make them as disturbing as you can. Sit with the thought. Let your amygdala send off that warning bell. Allow yourself to feel that anxiety. That's what the brain does. That's what the amygdala does. It's there to protect us. It's just protecting us from the wrong things. It's protecting us from uncertainty. Allow yourself to feel the anxiety. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that come from it. It's just a thought. Let it be there and let it pass by. There's a phrase in many, many books that has been so helpful, and it's the best way to describe how to be the observer of your thoughts, is to imagine your thoughts as people on a train, and you're sat in the train station, and as these trains are going back and forth, these trains full of thoughts, people are getting off. Those people are thoughts. Those thoughts are getting off. Some are getting on, some are getting off. But you don't have to engage. You don't have to go on that train. You can stay sat where you are. Just observe those thoughts coming and going, because essentially thoughts are thoughts. They don't mean reality. They don't mean something's going to happen. And I know how distressing it is, not easy to do. But studies and research has found that to set up a new habit, so even thinking habits, takes 21 days for those neural pathways in your brain to be set up, those thinking habits. 21 days. If you can do that for 21 days, your brain will start learning to respond differently to these intrusive thoughts. Welcome them into your mind. The more you welcome them, the less they'll start to bother you, and then they'll go away. Or they'll start to simmer down. And even if they don't, the reaction's not going to be the same. You're not going to be distressed. You're going to be able to sit there and say, there's another one of those thoughts, and carry on with your day. And I know it sounds easier said than done, and I know you're probably going to be sat there saying, if it was easy as that, people would be recovering all the time. It's not easy. It's not easy to respond to distress and fear, but it works. It takes time. It takes practice doing that, just being the observer of your thoughts. It takes time, and you're not always going to get it. You're going to, one day you might feel strong and be able to just let them thoughts be there without them distressing you so much, without them giving you the need to engage in these compulsions, mental or otherwise, because there's two types of compulsions, which I'll cover in another video. There are going to be days where you don't feel strong. There are going to be days where you need to be a little bit kinder to yourself, where you're going to need to be a bit more compassionate with yourself, and realize that you're going to have bumps in the road, but remind yourself of what you can do to help your recovery, in becoming at peace with those thoughts, So don't rush yourself. And if you have bumps in the road, it doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're not going to recover. See it as a step forward. It's a hurdle. People see mental health recovery as climbing to the top of the mountain and being recovered and being over it and of getting rid of it and finally living their life happy and free. How I like to see life and being content and being happy, it's a continuum. So nobody is always 100% happy every day for all of their life. Some days they may feel sad, some days they may feel down. There's bereavements, there's stress, there's money troubles, there's all these different things pop up in life that we have no control over, but we have control over how we respond. And it's allowing yourself to feel those emotions, because emotions, there's no good or bad emotions, they're just emotions, they just are. We just interpret them so. So recovery isn't about overcoming that mountain and sitting on the top of the mountain. Sometimes recovery and overcoming challenges with mental health, particularly with OCD, is sitting at base camp. It's having to untangle that rope. It's, having to take a break. It's not realistic to have a goal of being 100% happy all of the time. It's having the right tools and the right frame of mind and the right skills, emotionally, mentally, physically. It's having those tools and skills for when you are at the opposite end of that scale. So life, happiness, contentment is a continuum. We just have to work on how we respond to different things. And when we are not feeling great, it's about being kinder to yourself. It's about being compassionate. It's about being a bit more gentle, practicing some self-care, not thinking that you're a failure or giving up because you're never going to recover, because you will. It's just about how you handle those tougher days. Hope that makes sense. Hope this video has been helpful. As always, please drop your comments. If you have any comments, please reach out on Facebook. And I look forward to bringing you the next video. So bye for now.